Welcome to TVBS Meeting Room, where we tackle global issues with a view from Taiwan. I'm your host, Wenqi Yu. Today's guest is a veteran business executive, Mark Atkeson, who spent 3 decades doing business between US and China. He recently published the book, Risky Business in Rising China, sharing lessons learned as an entrepreneur during China's growth period and experiences working in sectors of intense competition today, such as semiconductors and electronic vehicles.
You know, there's often a misperception with business people outside of China that China is a big monolithic, state-owned economy. And China is actually, over the period of the last 30 years, the private sector grew up to be, over 60% of GDP and over 80% of urban employment. And the private sector is a hive of millions of firms that are fast and nimble and adaptable, who are chasing market opportunities and dodging restrictive regulations. And, Chinese entrepreneurs are free agents. They're eager to do deals, and they're also eager to partner with foreigners.
There's a lot of concern about Chinese-made EVs flooding global markets, right?
Yes.
And, there are people basically, on the US side saying it's unfair trade practice because it's, in some way supported by the government. But it sounds like you argued that they're truly private. There's no state involvement.
I would say this, it's a hybrid. I think the status of where we are with electric vehicles in China today is that they're now down to about a dozen firms that are producing. Many of them are losing money, but many of them are also supported by local governments who champion, their local producer of electric vehicles. And so you're right in the sense that countries outside of China are concerned about the overcapacity because, clearly in the Chinese automotive market today, there's significant overcapacity, not just in EVs, but actually in internal combustion engine vehicles as well.
And do you think China, to have a better future, will need the parties' stronger control?
What I see today is the central government is making a major effort on industrial policy, and that's all good. But the problem is that, as we know, when governments do things like that, there tends to be a lot of corruption. There tends to be a lot of betting on the wrong companies and big distortions in the market. And the risk for China is that if the central government suppresses the entrepreneurs and the business leaders, they're really putting a brake on economic growth. And I, based on my experience over decades in China, I feel that the central government of China should get out of the way of Chinese entrepreneurs.